GoAnimate. Make your free animations. GoAnimate. Make your free animations. Yeah!
Hello, I'm Mike the Koopa Warrior, and Doug Walker sucks. What, you were expecting a much more dramatic opening? Today's topic I will be talking about is GoAnimate the Movie. Yes, you're hearing me loud and clear. Someone actually had the balls to make a full-length 99-minute GoAnimate film. Before we talk about the history of this film, let's talk about the site itself. If you watched my channel for a long time, you probably know how I feel about GoAnimate subculture. I already made 9 cringe compilations on GoAnimate videos and plan to release another one soon. Basically, most GoAnimate videos consist of 10-year-old children making videos about Caillou or classic Caillou getting grounded for eternity for doing some retarded thing no one should be grounded for. And believe me, every fucking GoAnimate video has to end like this.
Caillou. How dare you beat up Nickelodeon characters? That's it. You are so grounded for 2432506Y95352041253409 years. Go to your room now.
But to give you a little history lesson, I'll give you some information for those who have never heard about this site until now. GoAnimate is a drag-and-drop animation video creation platformer launched in 2007 created by Alvin Hung. The main purpose of the site was that it's difficult to traditionally make an animation, so this site is dedicated to make the process a lot easier.
第一次我自己想整一條動畫影片出嚟，咁但係我搞咗好耐啦，都發覺我整唔到條片出嚟喎。咁搞到我覺得好掹陣。咦？點解我 computer science 嘅 background 整條片出嚟搞咁耐，咁多時間做唔到咧？我覺得咦唔係喎，除咗我之外，呢個世界其實應該好多人咧都對動畫有興趣啊。咁應該好多人都有好嘅 idea 係可以透過動畫表達出嚟咯。咁我就覺得其實呢個係一個好好嘅 market opportunity， 即係如果我有呢個問題，我睇到其他人有呢個問題，咁我揾到個 solution 出嚟賣俾人，喂好正喎！呢個係一個好好嘅生意嚟嘅，咁就創立 Beyond。
It's kind of an interesting concept. A website dedicated to making easy, low-budget drag-and-drop animations as an alternative to expensive software that costs thousands of dollars? But if you wanted to make some cheap quality drag-and-drop animations ironically as a time waster, then this was the software for you. At least in 2012 that was. At the time, some GoAnimate videos actually weren't that bad, that had effort put into them. There is actually a video based on the good side of the community which I'll link in the description. But now let's get on to when the site's reputation fell off a giant cliff. As I said before, the site in 2012 was then suddenly invaded by little kids where this grounded trend became a thing, and still to this day. If you are lucky enough not to know what those videos are, most grounded videos involve any preschool character named Caillou, Dora, Barney, or even fucking Thomas the Dank Engine in a goddamn karate suit, all because those shows aren't their age demographic, or a villain from a movie that someone likes getting into trouble. If it wasn't enough for your sanity, the main premise for all grounded videos is the main troublemaker does something retarded and ends up getting grounded for a countless amount of numbers that I can't bother to read years. But that's not the worst part. Kids get grounded for changing their minds about school, pooping in the cinema.
Timmy Turner, how dare you poop on the screen while we were watching the Lego movie?
Getting fat at McDonald's, which makes those blueberry inflations on DeviantArt look like a masterpiece. Watching the Super Bowl, getting a simple math question wrong, blowing up a restaurant even though they don't know anything about explosives, talking back towards a death, getting a dead meat, and calling the baby stupid.
Oh my god. This baby is so dumb and stupid. I don't want stupid boys. I want girls.
And don't forget the fries crispy. Oh my goodness. Dart Bozer, I cannot believe you wrapped orders at McDonald's. That's it. I'm calling your parents.
I'm Chuck E. 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 I'm Chuck E.
It was then getting so bad that 3 years later, the toxicity in the community was getting way out of control that GoAnimate removed social media features and all of the non-business themes themselves because they were getting tired of the community's bullshit. I also found a quote online that the former GoAnimate CEO said after he left the site a few years after the Comedy World purge. I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I found. Those who people call GoFags, they sicken me deeply. GoAnimate was a mistake. It's nothing but trash. Think about that. Alvin Hung, the former CEO of GoAnimate, called his own creation a mistake. And rightfully so. Between the good versus bad user flame war, the whole respect my onion bullshit that no one cares about, character errors, and copying other people's videos for extra views, Alvin wanted to do this because he knew grounded videos were the most retarded thing to ever exist. And he didn't want his website to have a bad reputation, and he didn't want people to know that his product is the best website to ground people, or other meaningless shit like that. They want to advertise their product to businesses, not to advertise 10-year-olds making videos about Kalu getting grounded for destroying the Simpsons house or whatever JPEG image calling the baby stupid. The way GoAnimators reacted to this was... I'll talk about it in another video. The GoAnimate community is what I like to refer as a regret fandom. You know, one of those online communities that you absolutely dugged on as a kid or a teen, which is ironic considering that most of the community are consisted of, well, kids. One of those communities in your youth / pre-puberty days that you absolutely adored. Then, when you go back and revisit watching those videos as a more mature person, you realize, wow, what the fuck was I thinking back then? It's fine. We all had phases like that. I was a part of the Enterbot fandom. As of now, GoAnimate has rebranded themselves to Vyond, and the website is pretty much all about business. And they have a brand new CEO named Gary Lipkovitz. And Vyond isn't even hiding the fact that they don't want anything to do with the community, and I can't blame them for that. Even if it wasn't for the community, most of the Flash themes are ripoffs from other shows. We all know that Comedy World is a 100% ripoff of Family Guy, and they even copied some backgrounds from the show itself, which wouldn't have been a huge problem if the subculture of GoAnimate didn't age like Cardi B's discography. In the anime theme, one of the backgrounds ripped off one of the backgrounds from another anime, and yes, I found an image based off it. No wonder why they removed them. And even after the rebrand, as well as GoAnimate killing off the old themes, GoAnimators eventually found a way to make a Frankenstein version of once was their favorite website, with all the non-business themes and assets, without having to pay a subscription or anything. Just a download that I heard is very complicated. These people just won't give up. You just can't kill GoAnimate subculture no matter how hard the website tries. It's literally impossible! But now that we finally talked about the history of GoAnimate, now we can finally talk about the film itself. Finally. GoAnimate the Movie was created in 2013 by KBJ, but according to IMDb before the page was taken down this year, the film was supposedly made in 2006, even though that GoAnimate was launched 1 year after the supposed release. The fact this movie even had an IMDb page was beyond me. Hell, even the main poster had fucking Adventure Time clip art in the background, which makes this whole 2006 release completely ludicrous. And not to mention, the poster is a carbon copy of the poster from Greenie Phantom the movie. And this entire movie was basically copied from that entire movie. Scene to scene and word to word. So already, we're in a bad spot. If you don't know what that is, Greenie Phantom is basically a local kid's pipe dream in MS Paint. The only difference is that instead of everything being poorly drawn in MS Paint, at least you can see what is going on in a 10% better detailed perspective. But it's still not a significant upgrade. At the time of the film's release, it was actually given positive reception. Yeah, the bar was that low for the community in 2013. And the movie had a ton of viewership when it released. as well as the current upload of the film having 250,000 views as of 2023. However, that was 10 years ago, and I want to take a dive on how badly this film aged a decade later. 9 years ago, I tried to make a review of this film when I was an edgy 13-year-old. And yes, this is actual footage of me at the time. And it was terrible.
Well, I am Michael. I remembered, so you don't have to.
To be fair, it was meant to fail and I never finished it anyway. And at the time while I was attempting that review, I was an Airbot as well as a huge hardcore Doug Walker fan before his content took a huge downward spiral after 2015. But at least now, I gained maturity. I have a lot better editing skills than I used to in my early days, even though I still use Movie Maker, and I know how to convert videos into MP4 now instead of using a shitty 480p camera. So you know what? Baby steps, I guess. So without further ado, let's see how badly this film aged in a decade. This is GoAnimate the Movie. The movie starts up with a copyrighted movie logo that had nothing to do with the movie. In fact, pretty much the whole credits at the end of the film had no history of even making the movie. It was pretty much all made by one person. Speaking of the copyrighted logos, this is a risky move considering the fact that the creator made a VHS DVD release of this shit with the 20th Century Fox logo on it. I'd lawyer up. So after going through all of that, we are finally at the start of the film. Took long enough. The first scene of the movie starts with a rejected Family Guy character in a business suit named PC Guy walking into a Walmart, which is a blurry image. Yep, great start. We then get to one of our main characters, Eric. He's in a bad mood because...
I'm in a bad mood because he told me not to watch GoAnimate every day, every minute, every second.
If you thought this scene didn't make any sense, wait till you see the rest of the film. PC Guy buys an Adventure Time action figure, but that pisses off Eric so much that we have a chase scene.
Come back here with that toy, PC Guy.
We're only 3 minutes into this movie, just reminding you.
Well,
so PC Guy outran Eric and Jennifer with the toy, but some bodyguard-looking guy takes the toy from him and gives the toy to the guy that chased him, even though that PC Guy paid for it.
Wow. I finally got the best toy ever. My kids wanted to play with it.
Do you really think an Adventure Time action figure is the best toy ever? Think about Legos, board games, and most importantly, Hot Wheels. But no. This toy is apparently the second coming of Christ. So after all that, wait, is that Abomination of Mankind Cookie Monster? PC Guy goes into another store to buy a toy, but...
Is there something?
No, you can. You stole that toy. That means you cannot have it back. You're going to jail.
Sigh, what have I done? Why did he scold me from last time?
Okay, there are so many things going on here that I have to say. First of all, why is this officer a carbon copy of the bodyguard that took away the toy away from PC Guy for no reason? Was the creator so low on creativity that he had to slap on a police hat last minute on the same bodyguard character in order for the character to be different? Second, why is PC Guy going to jail anyway?
You stole that toy.
But wait, hold on. Hold on there. I thought earlier that PC Guy said that he bought the toy legally. There was no mentioning of him stealing the toy before the scene even happened. Even if he stole it earlier with explanation, instead of handing the toy to Eric, at least return it! Make up your fucking mind, movie! Jesus Christ! Food Fight had a better sense of direction from its plot than this, and we're only 4 minutes into the movie.
Oh well, I'm going to sleep for the rest of 5 days.
This might be a little nitpick, but how can someone perfectly healthy sleep for an entire 5 days? The only way this scenario could happen is if the person is unconscious or in a coma. And for some reason, Eric gets mad over it. Was this guy ever happy in his sad life? Later, PC Guy then, of course, went to Walmart again to ask an employee for the toy back. Yeah, again, this toy looks like the second coming of Christ if he would do anything to get it back. Eric comes out of nowhere and comes into the store, and let me see this. Couldn't the creator make different avatars for each character instead of recycling them? At least at the time this movie was made when you were allowed to make custom characters. But here the creator didn't even try. Even in some videos where Caillou gets grounded, you would at least know what the character is and what differences they have. Most of the Family Guy lookalikes are copied and pasted, and you wouldn't know who is who if it weren't for the different text-to-speech voices. Hell, there's even an entire video of this movie where only the red hoodie guy appears, and it would get faster. And that video is 4 minutes long. But hey, at least recycling is good for the environment. Oh, and I forgot to mention the character next to Eric is his sidekick named Victor. So PC Guy stole the toy yet again, and...
You can't have that back. 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 You can't have that.
A cop then shows up, which of course, he sends him back to jail for stealing a toy. You know, if he really stole the toy, the least you could do is fucking return it to the store, not handing it to the main protagonist that fucking chased him multiple times throughout this film. And yes, Eric is the main protagonist of this movie. And so far, the main protagonist himself, Eric, has basically revolved on what PC Guy does, which clearly shows he has some obsession issues, and he's supposed to be an adult compared to PC Guy being 10 years old. Kind of like Simple Plan's discography. I have a feeling that throughout most of this film, that this red hoodie guy is just going to be whining about not being treated like a king. Literally. We then cut to Eric's house where out of nowhere this horrifying looking guy who looks like George Bush breaks into his house.
Hey, Eric.
What?
These are my honest words about this movie, just saying.
Well then. La 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 la. Ya ta 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 da.
The most beautiful voice I've ever heard. 10 out of 10. Deserves a golden buzzer. Victor and Eric then realized that PC Guy stole the toy from them and escaped jail. Was the city in this movie so corrupt that they couldn't afford any high-class security in their prisons? Kind of like California and Haiti's policies? No wonder why the troublemaker rate in that world is so high. And then there is another chase scene. Because the first one was so good, how about another of these? PC Guy would eventually lose them, but would leave the toy behind and Eric gets his hands on it. 10 minutes into the film and I noticed another problem with this film aside from the writing and stock imagery. There are so many scenes with unnecessary filler. Some scenes don't even support the story at all, or have nothing to do with the main plot itself. There is an example of filler in a scene where Eric and Victor watch a Mr. Bill episode, and that scene lasts for an entire 2 minutes. A scene like this normally takes 10 to 20 seconds, but here it takes 100 seconds for this part to be over. Annoying, uninteresting, and not important to the story. And just when you think it's over, the scene just goes on and on and on and on. Then PC Guy yet again comes into Eric's house and is yet again arrested. But in the most cliche turn of events, it turns out it was only a dream.
Oh dear. It was just a nightmare.
If only this film was just a fever dream nightmare so I wouldn't have to go through it watching this shit! It also has the all-time worst butchering of Dr. Seuss's The Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Keebler. You really are a greedy man. You're alike as a bodyguard, and as devilish to be, Mr. Keebler.
Wow. That was bad. Holy crap, that was bad. Wow. Here are some suggestions on how to make a decent song parody. If you're going to try to butcher it, at least show some emotion into it. I know it's a parody and all, but think about all those song parodies on the internet that show a lot of character and humor by making fun of what the original is. Here the creator sounds bored and emotionless at the same time. Oh, and I didn't even mention the lyrics outside of the opening lines.
You're a bad guy like PC Guy, but he is not.
What?
Mind is unimaginable. By going to work, I suppose.
Really? But if you haven't read the song lyrics, this is Mr. Keebler, who is the main antagonist of the film. Yes, this bodyguard with devil horns is the villain of this movie. If you're gonna make a villain for a movie, at least give it some originality or creativity. All that the creator did was slap on some devil horns on the same generic bodyguard character and call it a villain. This is the laziest attempt possible at creating an antagonist. I thought Chris Chan's attempts at villains were bad, but at least he actually drew them. But according to this guy, he was like, okay, I need to make an antagonist for my movie. What should its presentation and design be? I'm currently out of ideas. So let's reuse the same bodyguard character and add some devil horns to make it look like it's a different character. Therefore, everyone will know it's a different character. Boom! There's your antagonist. I would have given the creator a lot more credit if the villain actually was an original character with a different design. But no, let's just slap on some devil horns. Therefore, it makes it a totally edgy as fuck villain. Anyway, Mr. Keebler's evil plan is to make an invention to destroy the world. Because that hasn't been done so many times already in other films. No. This is clearly what the best the creator could come up with. Also, he has a servant named Rendro.
But sir, that couldn't happen because Eric thinks you're a mean man.
I don't know how many times I have to say this that I might be nitpicking. But how do Eric and Mr. Keebler even know each other? A nobody red hoodie guy who gets pissed off over an Adventure Time toy, while a guy who looks like a security guard with devil horns just lives in a haunted house? What is the focus of this? Did Eric and Mr. Keebler run into each other at high school and become close rivals? I don't know, because this movie doesn't give us any information on why they know each other in the first place. So then we cut back to Eric's house where he cooks chicken for his daughter. And then out of nowhere, PC Guy again shows up because he wants to impress Eric's daughter. So then PC Guy shows up with his disguise, which only consists of funny glasses and a white beard. I'm sorry, but how does that work? Even people with an IQ of 10 aren't that stupid to figure out that's a disguise. All that the computer guy did was add some funny sunglasses, a white beard, and nothing else. And then immediately when PC Guy was with this girl, Eric snapped a picture of PC Guy's disguise falling off.
It was a disguise?
No shit. Anyone with a brain would have knew it was a poorly attempted disguise. Hell, even a 5-year-old would be smarter than this.
Sigh. I would never wear that pesky mask again. I'll put it in the closet so I can wear some new ones.
And now it's time for sing-along songs with Simon.
Basically what happens here is that the movie just cuts into some music video of what sounds like a royalty-free music song, like it's a commercial break. And without any surprise, it looks terrible. The creator didn't even bother syncing the acapella with the mouth movements. I get that at the time it's hard syncing voices with sound effects in songs because GoAnimate is a limited software, but some GoAnimators still found a way to sync sound effects with mouth movements. For example,
I'm in a drive-thru a Burger King. Can I please get a Whopper Jr. with onion rings? Make it a meal so I can get a drink. No, I'm not finished, that's not everything. Can I please get a double Whopper with no cheese? Can I please get a number 2 with a large drink? I got money so I don't care how much it costs me. So just throw in some extra fries, don't make them salty. All they cheese.
But the main point I'm trying to say here is that the movie is cut just to get a forced attempt to trying to get a song into the movie. And here's the thing. What does this scene have to do with the current movie situation? Why is this scene even in the movie, or better yet, Why is this movie cutting like it's a commercial break to this guy singing a stolen song anyway? There's nothing that works here. There's no effort in making it look like it fits well with the movie's plot. Is this a movie or a Much Music video block? We cut back to Eric and Victor in an unknown hallway where they realize that they stepped on a piece of red chewing gum.
I stepped on a sticky piece of chewing gum. It must be everywhere.
Me too, Eric.
If you think it's everywhere, then why does the hallway look perfectly clean to me? Or is it flex glue clear that's on the floor if it's all over the room? We then see the red chewing gum, and someone must have littered a huge piece of gum if the gum is bigger than Eric's shoe. Then a poorly drawn stick guy with horrible lip syncing comes in chewing gum, and Eric finds out who littered the piece of gum. And then for some reason the stick guy turns blue because... I don't know. So Eric and Victor go outside for a walk until they realize PC Guy is hiding in the bushes, where PC Guy would get caught by a police officer. Which leads to another chase scene because the last two weren't interesting enough. And then PC Guy randomly teleports for no reason to his room, and apparently it's nighttime when it was just daytime a few moments ago. And then he falls asleep, but then Eric and Victor, Christ, what is their obsession over this guy? Just give this guy a break. If he bothered you so much, just don't be near him. Simple as that. Meanwhile, we cut back to Mr. Keebler revealing his latest invention.
Yes, sir.
The remote.
The goat.
The remote.
What? Oh, the remote. The remote. Got it.
Damn, bro, that was mad funny.
I got to show you my latest invention. This is the Dale Acceptor 9000.2. It is designed for exterminating the investable human or cartoon beings of what intelligent life forms will find.
Well, I gotta say, sir, that is interesting and a good way to destroy Eric.
Exactly.
Again, this is like the second scene Mr. Keebler has shown throughout the entire film, and we haven't been given a single explanation of how he knows about Eric in the first place. So we see how the invention works, and he tests it on a water bottle.
Oh, man. That was extreme and professional, sir.
I will have none of that. And this invention will be able to destroy Eric.
Then we cut to a scene where PC Guy watches TV, and this scene goes on for 30 seconds. And then a copyrighted logo appears, and then we get a fucking Mama Luigi meme. Because Mama Luigi jokes in 2013 were so original and funny, am I right? Because PC Guy is known as a threat to the police, we cut to a circus scene where PC Guy once again disguises himself, but as a clown, and it just drags on forever with embarrassingly bad editing. Wow, we're only 35 minutes into this movie, and I still have no idea what's going on. Even if I'm breaking down almost every scene, nothing in this movie makes any fucking sense. You know what, I'm gonna skip some scenes, because holy shit, this is so unbearable to watch, and talking more about these scenes will just drag on forever. And believe me, you're not missing much. Later in the movie, there's a scene where Eric is in Antarctica? Okay, I'm sorry. But how did he get there? Was he some kind of god who walked all his way from North America to the shore of Argentina, then swam all the way there despite the water being below zero? I don't get it. It makes zero sense. It's never explained how he got there. What the fuck?
The mail's here. Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail when it comes.
Talk about music that's completely unfitting to the plot. The iceberg breaks with the worst splash effect ever done in a motion picture. Fucking comedy gold. But Eric is still somehow not wet, and the same stick guy is chewing because... Okay, what was the point of that broken iceberg scene? You have the iceberg breaking in half, Eric falling into the frozen water, and then it cuts to Eric again as if nothing happened, and the stick guy chewing gum.
This is the worst and annoying sing-along song ever. And now, it's time for the epic battle.
Oh cool, we're gonna have an epic anime battle! So after that unnecessary long scene, we have the same stick guy who bumped into this police officer who is totally not the same bodyguard as before.
Real-time song from Blue's Clues is the best sing-along song I ever sang. I'm sorry.
Sorry. This is the worst sing-along song you ever sang. You're going to jail.
So the stick figure is going to jail just for singing a copyrighted song. Just wait until GoAnimate City arrests people for littering one tiny bottle on the street instead of the person who actually did it. Oh wait, it exists too.
No.
10 out of 10 acting. Totally not monotone or anything. Wait, what the fuck is going on? Who the fuck is this guy? What does this have to do with the original plot? Oh my god, the scene is glorious. The terrible lip syncing, the GoAnimate filters, the way the scene transitioned from a goddamn stick figure getting arrested for singing a Blue's Clues song to this, and the way this guy moves his arms while raging, and then it's proceeded with,
"This guy is so stupid, 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 stupid."
I just don't know, man. I don't know why so many people in the GoAnimate community found any appeal of this at all during the time it released. I'm halfway through this film, and most of it is just boring, drawn-out filler that doesn't advance the story, which gets instantly boring. But hey, at least it's still an upgrade over this abomination.
Here comes the movie iTunes. I'm back, and with me back that boy, Dr. Beamson.
Speaking of scenes that are filler, remember when I said that some of the scenes are unnecessarily long that don't match the story? Well, this scene might be the best of the worst. This scene goes on for 89 seconds! Yes, the scene would change when Stick Guy gets shocked for some reason, and then being thrown in the ocean. Yep, once again, nothing here makes any sense. Oh, but you think that's all? Well, there is another scene where this guy watches the exact same fucking scene, and that scene goes on for 69 seconds. If you add the time, 69 plus 89 equals a grand total of 158 seconds. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is that in this scene, you could tell that KBJ is either making scenes unnecessarily long or just flat out filler just to make the movie longer. In fact, watching this movie after the first 10 minutes, especially this scene that goes on for an entire minute, feels like a fucking eternity. Then we cut back to this George Bush lookalike, along with what looks to be a protester, heading into this lobby building that's totally not a school. But with the amount of political characters here, this movie is already more political than Vice. And then Eric summons a jewelry box, which leads to the entire room being filled with jewelry that are shaped like blue pentagons.
Eric, I just wanna know, what a pity to bring a gift I have.
That's enough. That will be it for your medical insurance.
And I thought my bank account was poor.
Hey,
and just then, out of nowhere, we are introduced to this guy, and then Eric introduces us to this robot he apparently built. And if you pay enough attention, you notice that there's a light switch asset that doesn't move while the robot moves a few inches. Yeah, great editing.
What's up, yo? I am Blinky 2PO.
I'm literally watching a movie that has goddamn Speakonia text-to-speech voices. Just as I thought this movie's lore iceberg didn't reach the bottom, it somehow finds a way to get deeper. We then cut back to Mr. Keebler heading into what looks like an office building, wearing a goddamn FedEx hat, and seems to be carrying an— Oh no! Oh no! Don't tell me what I think that is. Is that supposed to be a dildo? But in all seriousness, what happens here is that Mr. Keebler and Rentro went to Simon's office because Simon wanted new vocalists for his songs. Mr. Keebler and Rentro had an idea and eventually agreed to join Simon's band.
Don't bother with Eric, sir. He is worn out, cranky, and annoyed. We stepped him in a madder, stronger, intelligent, more powerful, and easier to our skin. And if you heard, no wimping out. We certainly work at what's for the inside. Plus, your band won't make just money. Soon, be earning diamonds covered in gold. Every scheme from us can be sterilized with a set to men. Don't stand by Simon. We'll be millionaires.
Okay, this plotline here doesn't make any sense. This guy's entire goal earlier in the film made an invention to destroy the world. How is joining someone's band going to help you destroy the world exactly? Once again, another scene that doesn't fit with the plot or the story. It looked like some attempt to make the sing-along guy look like a contributing character to the film, instead of a character that just stands around doing nothing but fails in almost every way. We then cut to this guy that was introduced out of nowhere, reading a newspaper that features the robot that says Blinky 2.0 is here. And if you're dumb enough to not pay attention, the newspaper also features you can now download your animation. Yeah, totally a film that looks like a box office success. And then this guy turns into a superhero out of nowhere, revealing that he's going to stop the robot. This movie's logic makes no sense to the point where I can just magically turn into one by the snap of a finger. See? Then we get to the part where Eric's robot fights the superhero. I'll let you guess what happens. To make it short, Blinky loses the fight, and as for Eric...
Mine? Uh-oh. Tantrum in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dang it, why does Gakashay have to destroy Blinky too?
At least there's only 27 minutes to go, so we're almost at the light at the end of the tunnel. But it can't get more unsufferable than it currently is. Right?
Kevin.
Well, looks like you're reading a book in bed, but Kellogg's will put magic cereals on every page. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, good fucking lord. Another song. Just as I thought we didn't hit the iceberg, we get yet another song that interrupts the movie, which yet again doesn't fit with the plot. This movie's plot direction has changed so many times to the point that I literally don't understand a single thing that's going on. A complete disorganized mess with too many cooks in the kitchen. It's boring! I thought the first half of the movie was bad. This shit is somehow more confusing than the first half. Yet again, I can't see an average casual making it past the first 15 minutes because there's no real reason to. There's no real substance after the first 15 minutes of the film because I can at least credit that the first 15 minutes were so embarrassingly bad it was funny. But everything after that is confusing. Boring, drawn-out filler that is instantly forgettable straight after. Meanwhile, PC Guy is delivering newspapers, where the top article says that Mr. Keebler has landed in New Jersey. I mean, if Mr. Keebler is a huge threat in a major story, send in the fucking military! Or better yet, send in those FBI boys! And speaking of PC Guy, he finds the toy for like the gazillionth time, and we once again get another chase scene. Oh, but this time, since it's the last one, they run across a pit of fire. Eric shoots lasers at PC Guy, and then PC Guy shoots out stick figures. I'm sorry, but we went from the PC Guy versus Eric conflict about a fucking Adventure Time toy to the point where they're walking across fire pits? Like, chill the fuck out. It's a goddamn Adventure Time action figure. Just fuck off, for God's sake. As Victor and Eric lost PC Guy, they ran into Mr. Keebler with his badass world-ending device.
You should have known better. And because I have it right here.
I don't believe it. How could you do something like that to us?
I knew you're a mean man like Jennifer told us.
I mean, I wouldn't be so scared of an average businessman avatar that was slapped with devil horns last minute or some shit like that.
You don't stand a chance, Mr. Keebler.
That's when you're wrong, Eric. For I do have the Dalek Scepter to exterminate you, and there's not a thing for you to stop me.
You'd better think fast, because if you exterminate us, you'll have to exterminate PC Guy first, you devil-straight moron.
Unacceptable, you fools. Now you'll get it. Dalek Scepter 9000.2. Exterminate them.
Run for it.
Holy shit, that thing can blow shit up.
This isn't the end of—
Okay, I was just exaggerating. So we again cut back to PC Guy, who goes to Walmart, who meets up with, yes, that abomination is supposed to be Cookie Monster.
Do you want to buy that Adventure Time pin with changing face figure?
Yeah, someone will thank me for this.
So after all this time, this movie admits that it's an Adventure Time toy all along, even though the movie said it came out in 2006? My goodness, this film isn't even trying to not sound fraudish at all. And the community at the time accepted it? The bar must have been that low in 2013. Not like the bar is any better a decade later.
Dollar smells like cookies.
I literally just watched a poor man's version of Cookie Monster eat $1 in a GoAnimate video. So we then get more filler as PC Guy walks around JPEG pictures of Walmart aisles with the toy like earlier in the film, which I honestly think were copied and pasted since this film is so low on ideas or logic. Oh, but unlike the last time, PC Guy actually gains a character arc and buys the toy instead of stealing it.
The best part is, PC Guy didn't steal any toys, because he bought one. The bodyguard will be the shopkeeper of the store. The show must go on.
Remember kids, don't steal or else it's jail time for you. This is why you don't copy anything from MS Paint garbage.
Man, I didn't spend my cash for the Barnes & Noble bookstore. Not even my toy is a complete model. I'm going to Target.
Careful, you might run into some aisles where they sell, you know what, I'm not going to talk about that, because it's completely unrelated. So Eric buys a toy that's literally a blue stick figure, and randomly dances for yet again more filler.
Time for my own revenge.
I love how Mr. Keebler tries to look like a badass villain with the red filters, yet it just looks so hilarious ironically. So we then cut again to PC Guy and this other guy who are supposedly stuck on...
Wait. Where am I?
Looks like you're stuck here in Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore! Is this movie not the most American thing ever or what? We went from Eric dancing for a minute straight to PC Guy without any reasoning being stuck on an historical monument. This plot flips and flops more than soccer players.
Well, if it isn't PC Guy.
Who said that?
Oh shit, it's Mr. Keebler.
What are you?
You think you
PC Guy is obviously terrified of this man with devil horns.
Yes. Well,
I was supposed to make you go to jail, and you're not shoplifting this time. You have gone too far for this PC guy.
Now, I'll have my revenge on you, shoplifter.
So you're getting revenge on him because he wasn't shoplifting? Yeah, I'm just glad this confusing mess of a movie is almost over.
Oh no, I gotta drive real fast before time is running out.
Yes, people, this guy who in the movie is said to be 10 years old actually knows how to drive a car. Which leads us to a car chase scene that looks like the newest Fast and Furious film. Only there's no Vin Diesel. This scene is giving Mad Max a run for its money. But then Jack comes in to save the day and destroys Mr. Keebler's world-ending device. Like I said, better than Mad Max.
Jack the Shay. I should have known you're onto this confrontation.
There's no restrict for defeating Jack O'Shea, and I shall return you to your palace from whence you came.
You'll never take me alive, Jack O'Shea. I'm powerful than you, and there's nothing you can do with it.
And I ain't going down without a fight.
You're going down for this.
You're on, like, Diddy Kong.
Oh boy, it's the long-awaited final battle! Is it finally gonna make up for all the garbage I watched? No, it doesn't. So in anticlimactic fashion, Mr. Keebler loses the fight. So I want to give you a wild guess of what happens to Mr. Keebler now that he's defeated. Does he die? Nope. Does he get another beating like an average for hire video with a black screen? Oh wait, that's 7 years ahead of its time, so no. Or in the most cliched way possible, sent to jail? Nope. None of those free.
I will have no mercy on this.
That's right, you wouldn't.
You're gonna pay for this.
I don't think
Instead,
so.
Jack throws an object that looks like a Pokeball into the ground and sucks Mr. Keebler in it, ending his reign.
You will regret this one day.
Well, damn. The new Pokemon series looks lit, am I right, guys? So glad this is almost over. I mean, anyways, after Mr. Keebler's defeat, everything goes back to normal. Yeah, normal. When has the GoAnimate universe ever been normal? Getting grounded for a billion years? As the film nearly closes, we get one more scene of PC Guy and Jack reading the last newspaper.
Everything's back to normal. PC Guy bought the toy and purchased it. He didn't even make mistakes, but he will solve the problems in life. With Mr. Keebler gone, everything's back the way how life can be. We saw the toy with changing face. Or is it Eric's? And then, everybody lived happily ever after.
Happily ever after! Oh my goodness. This is so generic and so overdone. Wow. Like, I can't help but just laugh at how much Happily Ever After has been done, like, how many times in films already, but, Jesus, Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After. Oh, good heavens.
So that was the end of this movie, right, PC Guy?
I really love Walmart.
No further comment. I think that scene should tell you everything. And for the final scene of the film, Eric and Victor just awkwardly stand around while a bunch of batteries are floating midair.
Dagnammit. I've been intent for 5 whole months to put those batteries inside the toy. The frustration. The ignominious and the humiliation.
Don't worry, I'll do it again tomorrow.
That's the ending? I was honestly expecting a generic dance scene where everyone dances after the villain is defeated, or a Hollywood-style ending, but this? Wow. Talk about ending on a sour note. So that was GoAnimate the Movie. Thank God that train wreck of a film is over. And in my opinion, this is one of the worst things I've ever watched. I mean, could you blame anyone that couldn't make it past the first 15 minutes without clicking on a different video that's way better than this? With a story that's as boring as watching paint dry, characters that are lazily written, unlimited filler, a ton of plot holes as well as blurry stock imagery with hilariously bad music numbers, as a desperation attempt to make it look like some sort of musical to flesh out minutes in the movie, a bunch of copyrighted logos, and companies that had absolutely nothing to do with the creation of the film, you get a dogshit film all mixed together that is GoAnimate the Movie. This film is everything wrong with the GoAnimate community, and maybe why the staff at GoAnimate told the community to fuck off 2 years later from their bullshit. I mean, it's just crazy bad. I mean, how can anyone 10 years later that grew up in this time frame look back on this and think this is any good, or in fact take this movie at least seriously? You have to be a mega fan in the GoAnimate community to think this is a decent film. Or be some guy who likes to watch badly made GoAnimate videos just for ironic purposes or whatnot. You have to be a total loser who can't let go of the past. In fact, why would anyone be that obsessed over a movie that's worse than Food Fight? Yes, Food Fight was horrendous, but at least that movie had a plot that you could at least understood what was going on, and it wasn't drag and drop even though the animation is literal ass. And they at least had an excuse as to why the film was a catastrophic disaster. I can't believe I'm defending Food Fight. The funniest part is that after the success of the film's release, there was a sequel planned for this film which was originally supposed to release in the fall of 2015, and the teaser trailer was literally a carbon copy and ripoff of the first SpongeBob Out of Water trailer. But thankfully, the project was quickly cancelled with reasons unknown, and the film was deleted from KBJ's YouTube page. Honestly, for the best. This quote-unquote film gets a 1 out of fucking 10. And that brings me to this very important question. Is GoAnimate the Movie the worst movie ever made? You may think yes, but somehow it's not. Because I can only think of 2 good things about this film. While it does copy Greeny Phantom the movie, that movie is somehow worse than this that copied it. And 2, at least it wasn't made by Taylor Jolicoeur of all people. Lord help us all. Unlike the Koopa Warrior, and Doug Walker sucks.
Get rocker.
I swear him. I cannot stop what's wrong, what's going on. Can I yourself apology? He said I love the sound, so such a big man. You gotta do what you're feeling is real. My memory is funny, what's this will happen? Lost in New Orleans, a sinking man, and I don't wanna swear him.